Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another tutorial video. In this video, I'm going to continue my work on the metal effects, and in this video I would like to kind of show you to do a little bit of battle damage to your metal armor, basically. There are a ton of ways to do this, but this is just a simple, very effective technique for you to kind of practice on, and from there on out you can kind of develop your own kind of style. This is the way I'd like to do it right now. It's very simple. You just need a couple of things to get you started. So first of all, you're going to need a flat dry brush. Why is the camera not focusing? There we go. This is basically used for dry brushing. You can basically, they're readily available. It's nothing special. You do want to make sure that the brush is not having any loose bristles, because that's going to ruin the effect. So you want to make sure that it has a flat tip, basically. Then you want a very tiny brush. This is a 000000. It's a small brush. It's a really small brush, but you can kind of pick and choose what you like. But I like the smallest one. And then you need a toothpick. This is a metal toothpick. Yes, they sell these. It's basically a toothpick that you don't have to throw away. It's never gonna lose its sharp tip unless you kind of ruin it, obviously. But in the modeling community, these are used to kind of refine your kind of paintwork, refine a few lines, or to fix a little bit of a mistake here or there. But after every session, if you use normal toothsticks that are made of wood, you kind of throw them away. They absorb paint. The tip is kind of, dulled down. You have to throw them away. You have to basically use a new one. And basically after so many paint jobs or so many paint sessions, you throw them away, and you've used like a ton of them. These metal ones, you don't have to throw away. So they are kind of, you can reuse them every time. So it's kind of cost effective, or saves you a lot of space or whatever. But yes, they sell metal toothpicks. Don't remember where they're from. It's a hobby brand, but I can't remember what the name of it was. But yeah, they sell these. This is what I use. Absolutely love the tool. So that's what you need. You need a aluminium, silver, something that's brighter than the latest dry brush coat that you've used. In my case, that the last color that I used to dry brush this was natural steel. You saw that in the previous tutorial video. So you need something lighter than that. In my case, that is dark aluminium. You can use silver. I have a aluminium which is almost a white, and that's a little bit too bright for me, so I'm gonna go with the dark variation of that. I also have titanium, also a little bit too white for my taste, so that's what you gonna need, dark aluminium, from AK Interactive in my case. Obviously you need your water, and this is my kind of test piece to show you kind of like the idea of it. This is a test piece. Been going kind of rough on it, but this is just to try out different kind of things. And obviously we're going to use these two pieces to try it out. So, like I said, there's a ton of other ways to do this, but this is just a simple and effective way to kind of sell your battle damage effect. What you're gonna do first is you're gonna take your paint, use one drop. There we go, one drop. There we go. Then you're gonna take your dry brush and you're gonna dip it in, and you're gonna, just like dry brushing, less is more. So you're gonna take a little bit off, and then we're gonna look at the model or look at the piece, and you want to kind of determine where you want to put that battle damage. Like, for example, here's a flat spot, and that's a perfect kind of position to do some battle damage. It kind of looks like it's chipped already in the sculpt right here. So that is a perfect kind of position to do a little bit of battle damage, to make that kind of flat spot a little bit more interesting. So you're gonna take your dry brush and you're gonna do it. You're gonna streak it like that. And we want to go a little bit further so that it looks like a knife or something sharp hit that spot. So now we got like a streak right there. You want to use a small dry brush for this, because otherwise you're gonna streak the whole thing, and that's not what we want. We want it gentle, we want it soft, we want less is more. Remember from the previous video, less is always more. You kind of want to be in the position where if you didn't do enough, you can always go back and add a little bit more. If you right off the bat did too much, it's harder to fix that. So less is more. So here you can see it's a little bit too much. It's a little bit thick, the streak basically. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your toothpick, and we're gonna kind of really gently just go over that real gently. We don't want to scratch the previous layer. We just want to kind of remove that big streak. But what that toothpick is going to do, it's also going to create a little bit of a scratching effect, and that's what we're kind of looking for. So the camera is making that one color. That's kind of disappointing, but you basically want to make that thinner. So that streak, we're gonna make that streak a little bit thinner right now. There we go. I think the camera is kind of catching on. We're gonna gently make that streak a little bit less of an obvious streak, and more like a thin line basically. So the camera is really having a hard time showing you the streaks. So there we go. So with the naked eye right now, I can see that I've scratched into that paint streak basically. So here we are, and now you can see that I've scratched into that streak, and it's already kind of scratchy right now. So, but it's still real subtle, but you can see the difference. So what we're gonna do now is, now that we've set our base damage scratch, basically we really want to define that scratch. We really want to make that look like it's something try to penetrate it or scratch it, or So we're gonna take our brush, our real fine brush, and we're just gonna do, we're just gonna put a stripe there. And because the previous brush that we've used was a dry brush, this using this brush in the more traditional kind of way is kind of way brighter than the dry brush. So it's gonna show you a scratch basically. I'm kind of experimenting with new camera angles. So there we go. And right now I think again it's a little bit bright. So I'm gonna use my toothpick and I'm gonna gently, really gently take some of that off, and kind of look from this angle. Now the streak is way more defined, but because we used a dry brush previously, it's not just one stripe. It's more of a the edges are a little bit more faded. There we go. So it's kind of fading, giving you that worn effect basically. That's kind of what we're looking for. You can see we used the sculpt. We used that gap in the sculpt to kind of make that a more interesting kind of area. And if you think you went overboard, you just take your toothpick and we're gonna gently define it a little bit more. It's just that simple. And if you think, oh, the stripe that we put in is a little bit too thick, you gently use the toothpick on the edges to scrape off or to define or further detail that. So that is kind of like the effect that we're looking for. Now you can see that you can kind of see that it stops right here. Now I want it to fade out a little bit more so that it just doesn't stop. There we go. We're just gently continuing that line right there, and there we go. So now I think the camera's really making that bright. I want to define it a little bit more here. There we go. That's what I want. So now we got a battle damage. There we go. It's real simple, but really effective. Now, if I want that scratch to be like a Wolverine claw, for example, I can do another one next to it. But what I can also do is if I want just a really light second stripe right there, I use my toothpick. I put a little bit paint on there, and I'm gonna look at the sculpt. Zoom out a little bit. There we go. And I'm gonna just put it right here. I think this is an interesting spot. Put a little bit more paint. You can also do this with the brush. I think the brush is a little bit more easier to do it with. There we go. Put a second kind of scratch right there. And you just be real gentle with, like, again, like less is so much more. And if you think, okay, it's a little bit too big, I'm gonna take it off right here. Or it's a little bit too thick. There we go. And the camera is helping me out a lot by showing me details that I'm likely to miss with the naked eye. There we go. Simple but effective. And I want to take a little bit away from the fade right here. There we go. Now, you can see that I went a little bit too deep with the scratching right there. You can see that there's a tiny little, come on, there's a tiny little scratch because I went too deep with the toothpick. Now, in order to fix that, I'm gonna take some gunmetal. As you can see me screw up on the on camera right now. It's a real treat for you guys, but no worries. We're gonna fix that by using some gunmetal. That was the very first metal color that we use. We're gonna clean our brush. There we go. Oh, there we go. We fixed our mistake. Hopefully the camera. There we go. We fixed our mistake. And I'm gonna touch up a little bit more. You want to just be gentle. Take your time, because it'll be worth it in the end. I just want that scratch to be sharp, something really sharp. Try to attack it. So if I look at the camera, I think right here it's a little bit too thick. Still, I want that even sharper. I'm gonna take my gunmetal. And that dark or that gunmetal in between the two scratches is always it's giving more attention to the lighter scratch. There we go. Alright, so that was our kind of like little small tutorial on how to make a scratch. Disclaimer, you kind of have to practice. For example, the spot right here is a very nice little spot to do some damage. Um, you could use the silver or the aluminium paint to kind of put some like that. Immediately it makes that kind of look like it's damaged. It was previously, it was a very dark spot, and just by putting a little bit of aluminium there, it made that look like it's dented, something bashed into it. And just be very, very gentle, and you can brighten that up. Like I said, there are so many different techniques that you can apply to do battle damage. It's just a easy way, but we started out with the scratch. It takes a little bit of practice, a little bit of confidence in what you're doing, and the toothpick plays a big role because you can define the lines that you've painted. You can make the ending and the beginning and the ending of the scratch. You can make them pointy, or it all depends on what you kind of like. You could go for the scratch right here, like that, like that. Just be real gentle, and if you think, oh, that's a little bit too heavy, real gentle, you make that a scratch. There we go. It's a little bit too thick still. Clean the brush. There we go. There we go. And now I've scratched the sides as well, as you can see right here. Right here. And now this entire side looks like it took a beating. Like I said, less is more. You could also go with a much even lighter color if you want to, like the normal aluminium. But I think the dark aluminium did its job very well, and it's a basic tutorial. This is just to get you started, just to get you into it, and as you progress, you can pick up different techniques from other painters and stuff like that, or you can experiment with the dark and lighter colors. Obviously, the lighter the silver or the aluminium or the titanium, even the newer the scratch is gonna look. But I like the weathered, kind of battered look of Predator armor. They're fighting race. They're constantly getting into fights, so I want that to look damaged, weathered, and old. Like scars and battle damage is like a badge of honor for them. So that's what I kind of go for. I don't want it to look completely new, like it's put on there like 5 minutes ago. Now I want it a little bit older looking. So I hope you kind of. I hope I've given you a little bit of a push in the right direction. Just experiment a little bit. There's like a ton of ways to do this, and the dry brush technique that I did in the previous video, where I did the metal dry brushing, that already makes it look like it's weathered and it's battered and it's old. But I gotta put a disclaimer on this. This was sculpted by Narin, and Narin is such an excellent predator sculptor. The sculpt that he provides helps so much with this type of painting. It's All of his armor pieces look battered and damaged. They got scratches in them and stuff like that, and that really helps a lot. That really helps a lot. If you have to do, like, for example, if you have to do this type of armor where the armor is not dented, this is a completely different looking armor, then that dry brushing technique and that technique for the battle damage is not going to be as effective on this type of armor. This is smooth. This is almost like polished armor. So gotta remember that the sculpt that you're trying to paint, that definitely affects the way you have to paint it to get a certain effect. But I've rambled on enough. I hope you liked the video. If you like what you're seeing, if you like what I'm doing, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment. I always try to respond to everybody. I do approve all the comments manually because I want to keep out the obvious spamming bots and stuff like that. So that's why I put it on manual. If you leave a comment, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.